I've been getting a lot of questions about how the Grok recommendations work. You're sort of seeing if you're on Twitter, these stories over here, these side stories, and just sort of AI writing in general, which is something we're intimately familiar with. So I just want to go over real quick what they're doing, how it's working, and why. First of all, what is this thing? So if you look at Elon announced as part of X.AI, they're doing Grok, of course, that Grok is doing AI-powered stories for premium subscribers. If you look at the story, this is a story generated by DeepNewz. So Elon has unveiled a new initiative for AI to generate real-time news summaries from social media platform. The AI named Grok will analyze thousands of X posts and synthesize breaking news with social media commentary, offering users both quick summaries and the option for deeper engagement through chat features. Okay, I haven't really seen those, but AI's ability to provide accurate and timely information without relying on traditionally article text, focus instead on user-generated content and social reactions. So that makes a lot of sense. Basically, Grok, X.AI, according to Elon, is doing a pretty cool thing, and they're writing stories directly from what people are saying on X, on Twitter, which is cool, and obviously something that we also do at DeepNewz. But anyway, let's dive in. So let's look at these stories. The first one we see here, this one just popped up. Jim Simons, Quant King, passes away at 86. Some of you probably know who Jim Simons is. Legendary gentleman, founded Rentech, Renaissance Technologies. Um, very famous quant. And you see here, basically, you're seeing tweets about it. A lot of people are tweeting about it, and it generates a story. And yes, as Elon says, they're not following the links. They're not necessarily reading this. Maybe they're reading the announcement from the Simons Foundations, but they're definitely not waiting for the New York Times to have it. And I think, they're probably doing exactly what they say they are, which is just to generate it directly from the tweets. And you can see that as well here on DeepNewz. Yeah, billionaire investor Jim Simons, pioneer of math and finance, dies at 86. And this is the story that we wrote. Renowned mathematician, hedge fund manager, and philanthropist, passes away at 86, known for contributions to math and as a code breaker for the US government. Simons was also a legendary investor who founded one of the largest charitable organizations in the world, and his work in finance, hedge funds, revolutionizing quantitative trading. Simons is worth 32 billion at his death. He's a significant donor to the Democratic Party and philanthropist effort focusing on advancing math and science education globally. Um, his death was confirmed by the Simons Foundation. So I think we have a great summary. Sort of, I'll leave it to you whether Grok or we do a better job. I will note we had this story earlier, but either way, as you can see from the tweets here, these are very recent. These are from an hour ago, so we both had it pretty fast. So that's a great outcome. Let's also see what else we're seeing there. So you'll see scroll down. So you see other ones, Mayor Adams' Roman holiday amid NYC crime surge. Okay, we see Wells Fargo joins Bitcoin ETF rush, Tesla's Gigafactory in German faces chaotic protests. So that is a story from yesterday we had as well. Let's look at all the stories that they have. Biden's EV plan, Bitcoin. So yeah, anti-Tesla people go to the Gigafactory. That makes sense. We have this the EV investment. So basically, I think all I'll say is I think that the good thing is that they're absolutely doing what they say they are, which is to find topics from tweets and synthesizing stories directly from tweets. I think Grok is showing, as we are also at DeepNewz, that you don't really need to wait for a story to be in the New York Times, much less summarize their article to have their sort of one authoritative source, or 10 official sources. You can just see what people are posting. You can go direct to the source. I think the Jim Simons one is great because the main source is just the Simons Foundation, and then people obviously chiming in on, how great Jim Simons was, which he absolutely was. Um, but then I think a lot of other stuff, like yesterday, for example, their top story on Grok, at least for me, was people discussing the Andrew Huberman 120% meme video, which I think people are still talking about a little bit today. Um, so, I think that's fine. I think that that's going to be sort of the tension really for Grok is, are they going to focus on news or are they going to focus on discussion? What are people like near you talking about? And I think these are different things. I think combining them is fun and interesting. I'm glad that they're doing it. But as a contrast, I mean, you can take a look at what we do at DeepNewz, which is where, we're really just looking at the top stories kind of and maybe ignoring some of the discussion. So I think if you take a look at here, it definitely looks at what people are talking about. I mean, people are discussing the bird flu thing a lot, for example. Obviously, some of that has to do with a lot of the people who got really into COVID. They're kind of itching for another something like that. So there's just a lot of interest in that space. I'm not saying the bird flu is not important. It is, but it just sort of there's a predilection for people to talk about it. There was sort of this big story with BetterHelp, sort of screwing their users on a privacy setting and having the settlement, which again, these things sort of pop up because of discussion. But I think if you look at our stories, you're going to see kind of a little bit more, sort of some discussion, but also kind of like hard news and focusing on really what the news are of the moment. We do have the same stories. We have the climate protest at the Tesla Gigafactory, definitely a big story. But we also have things like OpenAI announces AI-powered search. That's a big story, and you see everyone from Bloomberg and Reuters to AI people discussed it. Um, so, we have those discussions. We have the Apple discussing, apologizing for the iPad crash app. But we also have the Russian offensive in Kharkov. So, like, I just think it's a similar thing, but a different approach. And I do wonder where Grok is going to go in terms of are they really going to, again, are they going to focus on news or are they going to focus on discussion? What are they going to focus on exactly? But I think they're off to a good start, and I kind of just wanted to explain how it works. Maybe as we get more stories, we can sort of break that down some more. Um, I'll sort of end with the following thing that because this is on Twitter, there's a little bit of a tension to me between again, do I want to show you all the things that are going on? Like, do I want to show you sort of the top personalized headlines here? You know, or or do I want to show you like tweets to sort of jump in and engage? Like, is it an alternative Twitter timeline instead of just, sort of doom scrolling Twitter and seeing random stuff? Do I want to see, random good stuff, of course. Do I want to see sort of like persistent topics of discussion get elevated in sort of in somewhat more of a story? Um, I'm not really sure. So I think they're gonna have a sort of a decision to make. Do they really want to push hey, I'm going to this thing to get the top news and I don't miss anything that is somewhat personalized, or they like, here's topics that people are talking about. Um, so actually, you can sort of see all the topics here if you click on the Grok thing. So here's their sort of news stories. Jim Simons, the Mayor Adams' Roman holiday, Wells Fargo, Bitcoin ETF, Biden's EV plan, Gigafactory, Starlink skyrockets to 6.6 billion in revenue. Um, Shogun season two. This is weird. The Kevin Durant dubious Warriors decision. That's like a story from 2 years ago. So again, like these are good stories overall. There's definitely good tweets about them. I think it gives you awareness of what people are talking about, but I'm not really sure that it's giving you, a top good 10 or 20 stories, whether those are overall or personalized or by section. So that's kind of the main point that I wanted to make. Let me know if you guys find this interesting.